Well, we'll see. G2, they've come into every series prepared, and already they're going to get slaughtered. An aggressive start out from Gambit, fighting into middle, and it's left on to keloqz to really do some damage.
Such a good start for Gambit here on the defensive side of their map choice. A surprise for G2 to be taking this battle on Breeze, I'm sure. What a tough round to win out. The spike dropped down in middle, and AvovA has snuck into the B site, but Gambit know exactly what control they've given up. They're holding forward, shutting him down, and leaving keloqz to do it all. Immediately, we're seeing that aggression come out of Gambit, rushing down middle, fighting an elbow together with Defo and Nats. And that kind of sets a scary tone for the rest of this map, because G2 did not look prepared for that.
No, and I like to see it. Like, the fact that Gambit, a lot of the time when it comes to their defensive sides, are fairly passive too. I'm not sure, even though it's what, like 6 PM here in Germany, I don't think I've woken up yet to be able to cope with that sort of play this early on. How has that just happened? And that, we also said that maybe this looks a little bit worrying at the moment for G2. Well, that's even scary.
Of an emptier side. Still a couple players to deal with.
Yeah, and the scary thing is it's both the Viper and the Cypher here. So there's so much utility. keloqz is just going to be picked out of the sky. Cage is being popped as well to give him a little bit more time to play around some of these angles, but Nats is going to get dropped. Mixwell, he's found another, and an afterplant is inevitable.
Really good call by G2 there. They realized, okay, we've seen the Cypher, but there's probably Viper's still here, right? Has to be, from what they saw earlier with Chronicle being the only player on the site when they had that eco. Oh, that is incredibly unfortunate. Redgar just walks forward. It's shut down through the door. I don't really see a way back in here. That has to be over-peaking by G2 to give advantages, and Gambit make the same read there, just running for the hills.
Go that far down on their own map choice.
Now, G2 have massively impressed me recently, but mixwell won't be doing any impressing right here and now. The operator spotted out Redgar, shut down AvovA. That's a push in through the tube that has given them massive control. And now with a 2-man advantage and some rifles recovered, they can just back off and run this down, allow G2 to make the next move.
Huge start. Again, the only rounds they've had any success have been based off heavy amounts of aggression, and with the Blade Storm in play, a rifle retrieved, this is now looking like a very good spot for Gambit to be in. G2, however, they're going to get spotted, and the Empress comes into play.
This is where nukkye closes in on the site. To take Chronicle down, but he can't quite catch the spray. And moving in through that wall is always going to be a risk. The Hunter's Fury trying to finish him off on the site, but nothing is to be connected by that. keloqz surely not about to walk on through that wall. But there's a flank in play, and they have absolutely no... Oh, never mind! Redgar gets dropped. The reaction on koldamenta brings it into a pretty winnable round for G2. They're on the A site. The second flanker on his way. Nats so late to the party, but that might just be the timing that they need.
Surely it can't go wrong twice. Nats is going to land the shot onto nukkye, but they need to now pick their battles. Which direction will they go in? koldamenta again drops one of the flankers, but they should know that Nats is still here. Information to be garnered. keloqz to support him, but it's only going to be the trade onto koldamenta, and Sheydos finds the final kill. It is a messy round. It's a shaky round, but it's a round nonetheless. And because they've lost so much control, I wonder if G2 might have to just pick up the pace.
They don't seem to be, though. And that play around middle by koldamenta I have my eyes on. These guys are playing more conventional, pushing towards the site, trying to see space, but I want to see what's koldamenta going to be doing as the round goes on, and with 2 kills in their hands. I mean, now that question is null and void. They've got the site and the plant. I was expecting much more resistance out of Gambit there, and now we come into a 3v4 retake. The defensive side, and still koldamenta sitting down in mid, waiting to catch the rotations.
Yeah, the fact is, even if he sees absolutely nothing, it lets the remaining players know that there can't really be much coming from behind. Nice shot from Defo. This operator has been one of the saving graces that he's had so far. And the peek out from nukkye is going to meet the same fate. It's now starting to fall apart a little bit for G2.
Oh, the one thing they had was koldamenta's position being unknown. But in goes that ultimate from Cypher, the neural theft revealing him. And they'll shut him down immediately. The flash out does absolutely nothing for mixwell. And just in the nick of time, they will get the defuse. Another 1 round for Gambit.
Not really garnering too much. G2 do well to try and deny it, and now there's a counter of the Hunter's Fury. It's awkward. Chronicle's actually still alive in the back of that. A little bit unsure how he's managed to survive, but the timing of that, he gets 2 kills. kills off the back. Sure, he's traded out, but he was so low on HP, I don't think he'll care at all.
We talked about him having a rough time. He certainly didn't this round. Oh, look at that push coming up from Redgar. Great timing and a great kill coming out of the man himself. Sure, Sheydos falls, but a 3v1 spike down, and koldamenta with it all to do. A big clutch needed, and Nats, again on the flank, is the one to close that out. Is going to completely stop them with this Viper utility.
Yeah, this is the problem. Once the openers go Gambit's way, it becomes a lot more difficult. Nats is just so gross, just repositioning and catching both players. He's going to go for the ace, he hits the dink! Oh, that's heartbreaking. But
we had that breakdown the other day where he sat still for a minute inside of Viper's pit.
But now, very aggressive. Now, we do have keloqz back on his Marshall, but it hasn't started quite the way they would have liked, and Sheydos doesn't look like he wants to give them any space at all. The flash is perfect, though. mixwell going to be able to pick off one. They've had some trouble in these anti-eco rounds, so Gambit have to be a little bit careful here not to get overzealous.
mixwell doesn't manage to recover that weapon. It's a little bit too far out for him to risk it.
Welcome to my world.
Viper's pit.
Spike planted.
Up on the side. Still doesn't actually let them get over towards that weapon, but they'll be facing out behind it. keloqz suffering a little bit of damage. He'll fall back in, and look at this. They're just spraying away. Gambit looking to section them off completely. Gonna have the Trailblazer put through, looking for them inside that pit, but look at where keloqz is. He's a great angle, but a whiffed shot. Nats finishes him off. AvovA and mixwell waiting for these players to push on in. They'll take the fight on their terms, but Gambit will come out on top. Shaky because Gambit start to take fights on their own terms. They start to play much more aggressive, and they've slotted out a couple of players here. The updraft just about saves Defo. 20 HP. With an operator, he's still going to be very dangerous. That wall going to be coming down fairly soon. keloqz wants an advanced position for when it does fall. Flash through the peek after. I love that. Free control, but Redgar's conscious of it. He's very worried about a player already being close, and as keloqz comes out, is Redgar ready for this fight? Seemed to be, but keloqz gets the better of him. 2v3. Oh, and he goes back through with the man advantage. That was a bit ludicrous. And now that could cost G2 heavily.
Trying to clear out some of these backlines positions. The Tiger will leave. Chronicle tagged. Can't quite run away, and now it's left all onto Defo. 7 HP to try and pull off this clutch. A 1 versus 2, and the time is ticking. He has to go now. It's the last round. There's no value of keeping that operator anymore, and I don't think he stands a chance in hell. One player may be dropped, but he does not know where AvovA lies, and he does not have the time. It'll be a 5th round on the board for G2. Also, not sure if they'll even know how close some of these players are actually going to be. Defo needs to be cleared instantly, and that's exactly what they get. But there is a second wraparound coming through even later from Redgar. Again, this duel is going to be everything, and mixwell wins that as well. Sure, it's traded out, but now they know where these players are going to be sitting. keloqz picks off another, but Chronicle and Nats are fighting strong. It's left all onto nukkye. He doesn't know where the remaining 2 are. Watches them wrap around, hits the dink onto the first, at least leaving him low, but the time ticking far too low. Chronicle, all he has to do is stay alive here, but I don't think he's got enough time. Close. It's going to be close, but it isn't enough.
No, just a second away, and indeed.
I've got your trail.
They're actually going to pop themselves the Seekers. Give at least a little bit of information over if anybody was actually going to be close by. Obviously, with weaker weaponry currently available, they might have tried to take some more aggressive positions. They're going to follow this up. AvovA has to do an awful lot here. Sat at the back, and he gets absolutely nothing. nukkye and keloqz, though, have found a killer piece.
Nice shot out of keloqz. Quick return, though. Gambit right back in the fight. The spike is down, but it can be recovered. There's no one close by to punish for the side of G2. As Gambit make those rotates in, you can see Redgar. It's going to be a little late to the fight. You've got a 1v1 brewing between koldamenta and Sheydos. It's whether this fight is found soon, because there's 15 seconds left, and Sheydos needs to cross over. He's thinking about doing it with a flash. Instead, he just goes straight in for the peak.
10 seconds left.
They'll get this plant in just in time. The recon to catch him as he fades out is taken down by Redgar, but now on 4 HP. He's the only hope of the team. The Vandal in his hand, and he connects the instant headshot, but mixwell, perfect flash to close out the round.
By Gambit if they do get into an afterplant. And we're actually going to see Hunter's Fury pop. They're trying to clear out the back corner, but there's nobody there, and Defo's actually caught, looking to try and peek into the spawn. A 5 versus 3 after plant is a really good spot for G2 to be in, so it's fine that they're going to get the spike down. Now this hold is going to be really, really tough for Gambit.
Yeah, not only with the man disadvantages, but the utility in play for G2. Mixwell up behind, won't be able to catch them walking through elbow. This could be a big flaw now for G2. They're making a lot of noise in the connector. Gambit have the perfect timing on the flank. All they need is the player on site to stay alive, and he has done that. Chronicle picks up one. He goes out for more. There's the trade, and they're not ready for a second player. Sheydos, 1 versus 2, but the spike is not planted for him. He needs to win the first, and he does indeed. AvovA sticking it all the way. Will he get there in time? It doesn't matter. AvovA comes off it to take the duel, and that is 9 rounds for G2.
Yeah, it looks like the same sort of retake setup. Redgar is stuck in, he's weaving, he's trying to avoid the final tag, and he's not going to be able to. Again, an advantage in this retake for G2 as they make their move.
Great call on the Hunter's Fury. They knew exactly where that plant was going to be coming in. Shock darts to the backside, tickling them up. But here's the man we talked about before. Nat's on the flank. He can pick up a weapon. He knows exactly where they are, running right on in. Taking down 2, looking for the final player up behind him. And that duel goes their way nicely. Nukkye last alive, but he's pulled it into a 1v1. Defo giving away his position on the backside. Nukkye knows exactly where he is, but he's got to take him down soon. The time is ticking away. The jump, right click works out, but the round is not his. Nukkye might even fall to the spike in the end. That's a
These rounds.
devastating round, really. Countryman, but you're regionman.
Regionman, the classic term.
Hey, if countryman's a thing, so is regionman. Now.
Well, the classic slow round nuke. The timing is going to be perfect! He's caught in the drone, and Chronicle isn't working! He couldn't have found better timing than that in any other possibility. keloqz, though, is under pressure. He needs some support, or maybe not. Isolating the jaws! Just 4 HP remaining, but that will be enough.
Yeah, Nat's left alone. He somehow still manages to get a flank play. Yeah, go on, shoot your arrow out. Yeah, good luck. But now it's a 1v4. And even with keloqz low, that operator just needs the 1 bullet. Turning from the flash doesn't help all too much when keloqz has teammates to help him.
To try and bait players into a shot, even when he's on only 4 HP. Incredible round from keloqz, and he's starting to get a little bit more confident. The Blade Storm thrown in for Defo, and they're going to go for a fast push into B once again.
Oh, they definitely are. keloqz is here waiting for them, though. Hunter's Fury deployed AvovA. Good to get 1 kill, but he'll be taken down right after. Quick trade by keloqz. And he's actually repositioning. They will never expect him to be here, surely. As he even closes in the distance, that operator going in for the aggressive pick.
No.
But Chronicle is a little bit too quick. 3v3. Numbers evened up. You have to ask yourself, was that aggression necessary out of G2? They might just pay for that mistake. I'm looking at this though.
Heard it.
Same position as the previous round, and he gets the same result.
Oh, and Mixwell's on the edge. He could end it here, but Sheydos expects the corner. It goes back to a 2v2, and now koldamenta is actually alone. They know that he's still here. Now they're going to plant within it. The shock darts will do at least a little bit of damage, tickling them up, but here come the Seekers. They know that there's still a player within the site and the rotation's coming through. This allows them to take some control on the flank, and we'll now see that sneak up from Sheydos.
Sheydos is so nasty. That wall up, Nukkye's going to have to push right through it. And just, oh, he's going to be spotted. Great angle from Chronicle. And he's just buying time at this stage. Sheydos now coming around to play this together. They drop the pit and close it out. 3 kills from Chronicle and 13 rounds for Gambit. They take the first map, the surprise pick of Breeze, and G2 now have to make the reverse switch. They've gambled there with the 3 players and a bit of a passive mid support hold. With a minute left on the clock, Gambit have already closed in the distance. They're going to pop this wall down to look for a much more aggressive plant than what we normally see out of these teams. In fact, the updraft out of Defo is going to give good position, but Redgar falls way up behind. G2 having a flurry of frags going their way, but Gambit won't let it slip away all that easy, and Chronicle has snuck right up to the door. He is ready to catch them as they come on through mid.
nukkye is going to go above him, though. Now, will he actually check this corner? That's the real question. keloqz, he's going to find the spike. That buys extra time for nukkye to move, but he doesn't know that there's a man right behind him, but they've almost passed like ships in the night. But Chronicle will be able to close out the round.
Oh, well, they're actually
maybe they actually
back.
don't know.
Yeah, looks like it. keloqz backing off though still. They have managed to get an ult orb over on the Gambit side. Shut down to Defo. Little bit more maybe, but that's Spectre picking up the frag. This sells a fake completely. They've used their ice wall. Multiple players were spotted and now the pressure is on. Nukkye needs to make a big hold as his teammates rotate around to help him. If he's caught up on top, he will be putting his team in a pretty rough position because he's now fallen, and mixwell trying to fight his way back in. Gets lit so heavy, he can't even try to make that fight.
He does manage to escape, though. I believe there might be some extra HP given over via AvovA. The only problem is that Redgar's also found that remaining player looking to try and push through. Sheydos above, he's spotted. AvovA, he's going to jump almost directly onto his head, going for the Goomba stop and leaving mixwell to try and save this. It's a bonus round victory for Gambit.
That way, a lot of us came in saying that Gambit were going to be our...
If he somehow spots Nats, it gives them a way back into the round. Instead, it just comes out to this moment, and oh, they've seen it, but he still manages to come out with 3! Ridiculous from mixwell, leaving just Nats. He thought he'd given his team a free pass in towards the A site. Instead, he sent them to their death.
We thought Nats had snuck by mixwell. It turns out it was the other way around. Nats now having to clutch this one out. No idea where mixwell is, and the snake bite not quite clearing the angle. He's about to run to site, reloading, and mixwell completely whips. Nats actually clutches it out. 3 kills, 5 rounds. There seems to be no way for G2 to get off the starting point.
How? No, but how? How is he there? How is he there? I don't understand. How does he manage to do that? And oh, he's gonna get a kill on mixwell. What is this man doing?
That's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. This guy, he's defining the word flank.
It's not even a flank. I don't understand.
Just walked up behind them. It's absolutely obscene. Oh, G2, my heart goes out. You are playing Gambit's game at this point. Nats, he's even come on. Oh, he's come up behind for the 3rd kill. He's come up behind for the 3rd kill. How has he managed to do that? No finish off the walk throw. Come on!
No.
Come on! He walks through his own poison orb and gets the kill. koldamenta puts out the recon, just confirming they're still here. They've walled up. They're pursuing him. Gambit are looking so confident. Okay. But keloqz, he only gets the 1. A res straight away onto Nats. They'll try to shut him down. koldamenta with the Odin, and he gets dropped right afterwards. Nats falls, but comes right back to life and breathes life into the game of Gambit here. 8-0, looking for a 9th, and it is a 3 versus 2. They need to deal with Nats. He's in their spawn right now, and he's the only player isolated as they try to go through tube. Down goes mixwell. And Nukkye has to clutch it. The jump across by Chronicle, just about saving his life. Does he have any idea that Defo is going to be here, though? That was a close spam.
This is a dirty point to play on the cross. Looking to try and take him out with a single bullet, and they're almost going to move in a crossfire. It is perfect again.
Through, and that is going to be a much, much tougher bracket, and indeed put the many more BO3s away from securing that spot.
Still fighting for orb control. Nats 1 away from the Viper's pit, and on the other side of things, AvovA does have his res, but they haven't had too many opportunities to use it. Goodbye, koldamenta. He's gone already. The wall put in place, and I believe they're only spamming it with a Spectre, so I think they're actually going to be able to get the plant without any problems at all. There goes the Viper's pit as well after they get that extra orb from the spike, and while AvovA needs to find a kill here, and he gets nothing for it.
Okay, mixwell at least trades it back, but here's Defo, operator in hand. Barely looked like he even took the shot, and he was out of there. Blade Storm pop, they really want to secure this 10-0. Nukkye comes close, but he's just too low. And with mixwell walking through the Viper's pit, even after he finds the first, he's going to run right into Chronicle, putting double digits on the board. Gambit are just unstoppable. It seems like every single thing that G2 try to do, Gambit have an answer for it immediately, and koldamenta caught attempting a flank play. He's like, hey, I'm going to take a page out of Nats's book. Let's see how he likes it. And caught immediately. Gambit with just beautiful play right now, looking for 11. Getting rid of that operator and moving towards the B site where they're just going to play this one yet again, getting their plan, post-plan play, and Nats has so much space to work with, which is an incredibly scary concept.
Yeah, he has that normally, but Now it almost seems worse. This duel is everything. mixwell can take him down, pick up a weapon, but of course he's going to get the drop on him. We're not even surprised at this point. keloqz in a 1 versus 4 to give them a round.
He's been flanked!
He gets the first kill.
He's been shot in the back!
He's found Nats from behind. It's almost a miracle in itself, but I don't think it's going to save them. He needs to find 3 more players and... okay! He at least gets a couple, but it doesn't matter for Gambit.
First half, I wouldn't be surprised if they play a little bit more aggressive. They're going towards Nats. Have they learned nothing, Tom? They're going towards Nats.
Yeah, Nats playing in Nats, for anybody wondering. Gonna look to try and find Defo, still just so clinical, looking for the cross. keloqz tag, they're losing their lives. 3 players remain